And I doubt this one's going to be any better when it comes to condition, because it came from roughly the same spot, I think. And I'm pretty sure this was lying on the ground, even though it was kind of undercover in a collapsed shed. I was kind of surprised to see it sitting there, but would have been nice if it was in good condition. Would have been a pretty cool old retro amp, but in this condition I don't think it's going to be worth anything. We've got a model, we do still have a model on this thing, AD-50 by the look of it. Pioneer Electric Corp, made in Japan. Graphic equalizer booster, load impedance 4 to 8 ohms, power 25 plus 25 max. At least that would have been proper 25, and that would have been pretty loud in its day. We've got a big inductor here. I don't think this one would have a switch mode like a modern amplifier. They usually boost up the voltage. Oh god, someone's been at it. That's not a good sign. It's actually got transistor output, so I'm impressed. So it's only got a pair of D857, two D857s, and a couple on the other side too, I think. Yeah, so it's not even an IC one. It looks like it's only one pair of speakers. Well, it says 25 plus 25 there, so that's all there is. Although this might be another fader setup. Does it have a fader? Oh, it does have a fader. So you could run rears and fronts. We won't make the mistake. I saw that black wire there, thought I won't make that mistake again. So this might be 4 speaker outputs and a ground. And we've got a massive big, yeah, there's the big fader control in there. A great big heat sinked thing. And I can hear stuff sliding around in there. Let's shake that out. This bottom bit should come off, I guess. And the screws are already missing, does it? I think we've got to, yeah, if we undo these wires, that should all come out, I think. But I don't think this is going to be a lot of good. But then again, given the electronics in that other one just worked, and the other ones have all basically worked to some degree, it probably will work, if assuming someone hasn't made a great big mess of it or blown the outputs up. I might have to take that outside, I think, and bang that bottom cover off. It's not going to be easy to get off, I don't think. Oh, it's a good thing they put all these little fins on this thing, because I had to use them all to leverage it out with one of those great big 30cm long screwdrivers. But it came out in the end without too much of a fight. But I don't think it's going to be any good again. But we might give that a quick clean up. On my toothbrush. There's a lot of corrosion on there, white coloured stuff. Won't hurt to get rid of some of it. That is just terrible. I've never seen stuff in this bad a condition before. I'm not actually tried powering it up anyway. I mean, you can see old stuff rotting out in the bush somewhere where someone's trying to whale something where they shouldn't have, but that's about it. You wouldn't actually try and do anything with it. Because this is years and years of corrosion, not just a quick water spill in it or something. But that board's, I might have to take it and brush it out, I think, as well. So that's got a bit of rubbish out of it. It's not in too bad condition considering. But now I've got this problem of what are these wires floating around, and why is there another one there? Has someone removed something? Oh, that's, oh wait, they go to the speak, that's That's the fader. Are they related to that? And a yellow wire. Oh man. Never a good sign when you see stuff like that. You just feel the caps in here look like they might have been a bit hot. I wonder if I should take that fader out, and I might have to, I think. I think we're going to remove the front panel. That could be a job in itself. It just makes me wonder why someone's been in here messing around with this stuff. I'm going to have trouble getting these for a wiggle around a bit. They come. Everything's corroded to hell on this thing. This would have been a nice little amplifier once. Somebody's pride and joy, I would think. But who knows, someone might have just got it in an old car or something and it wasn't working properly, so they just chucked it in the heap of rubbish. That sounds nicely corroded. Now I can't get it off my tool. Oh, come on. That is not happy. Ooh, that's not what you want to hear. I don't know if this is actually the right size, although I don't think the next size is going to fit. No, I think it's just a corroded mess. Looks like the right size. Not doing my Allen key much good, I don't think. I can't even grip those very well. That one's coming, I think. Don't really have much choice. It's not like this thing's in good condition anyway. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, it's definitely the right size. I think it's just they are rusted solid. And again, it won't come off the tool. Yeah, I got that one, I think, too. Or not. I thought it rotated, but yeah. Or else the tool's too worn. No. Yeah, no, that is rotating a bit, I think. Maybe I'll wreck my tool. I can certainly cut the end of it off, I guess, if I have. That's a silver mark there. Is it really turning? Ah, it is, but geez, that is tight. Probably should have put a bit of CRC or something there. Let's try an Imperial one in case it's a bit better fit, because it's a bit big. Ah, that actually works. What was that one? A 3/32, surely they didn't use. And a Pioneer Imperial. Or it's just that the rust has either filled them in a bit or eaten them out a bit. The end of the thread's all chewed out. Probably won't matter because it probably isn't going to go back together, this thing. Yeah, real shame it's in such poor condition. We're in a cool little retro piece otherwise. I wonder where all these things went. There used to be a lot of this sort of stuff around. Probably all got buried, I guess, or it's in some bloke's shed somewhere with all these Tirana parts or something. So yeah, dual LED meter, mostly yellow LEDs for some reason. If we undo these screws, hopefully we can get this fader out and see what the hell this mess is. I'm assuming someone's had a fiddle. It's bound to be the speaker outputs they played with, I would think. There's all this silicon crap all over these screws for some reason. I don't think that's from the factory, and it's pretty well chewed out as well, I think. I'm pretty sure someone's been having a feeling. Yeah, the screws have definitely been out because they are pretty butchered. The heads aren't exactly unused. Do I have to take that other one? No, I think that's it. Let's... does it come out though? It doesn't feel like it wants to. Do I need to take that bit off? Because it's... what is it hitting on? Is there a wire pulling on it? I can't tell what's going on. Blue wire there. Oh, that goes to the circuit board. Well, that should be loose because we already undid that. Yeah, I think you're almost going to take the plastic shaft off or remove the graphic equalizer board. Can I get that shaft off there? I don't have a big enough screwdriver on me. Man, I need a bigger, much bigger one, I think. Maybe that big one I used before actually is a nice little stumpy one. No, that's not going to work. Why have they put so many bits and pieces on these things? Oh, it's coming. There we go. That's it. Oh, there's a power switch there too. So what have they fiddled with? Oh, God, now the wires are caught up, and there's some short ones on here, of course, so you can't do anything. I don't think they've messed with the wiring on that. The red wire, like I say, I've got no idea what they've touched. Power switch. So someone removed something. Might have to see if I can find any service info. They are labelled RIL. Oh, they're labelled underneath. Looks like two. Of course, this cleaning up with a toothbrush didn't work very well. So these big solder joints here by the look of it. Are they wired to these other? Here, they're just connected to these other pads near them. Oh, go away. And two other pads. Of course, right down in the border where you can't see anything. Well, that was one thing I wasn't expecting, is someone has messed with it. L1, and then there's two other wires here. Okay, these must be the other wires that I can see there. In it left. In left and right. They then hook to those two wires. Then we've got a couple of what look like resistors. I think is what they're connected to. I can see something here. Two resistors. So why would it have extra wiring off the ends? Yeah, because then they come out these other two wires that go who knows where, into the graphic equalizer maybe. So still got these wires here are your ins. Which of course one of these needs. We've got power, ins, outs. What did they originally go to, I wonder? And then a yellow wire called, does it have anything on it? DC, I think. Don't know. But there's no missing anything, so I don't think. I don't know what the hell someone's done there. If they're inputs, what on earth else would they connect to, unless there's another little circuit board in here or something at one stage. At least I don't think we need to worry about it too much. And this is going to be a problem with this, is because I guess we're meant to shove speaker level inputs into this thing. Yeah, well, it would be, and I say it then drops it via resistors down to a lower level that then goes in the graphic equalizer. So we probably could hook on the other side of those things where that blue and red wire are. Do they connect to anything else? We could probably put line levels in there. Oh yeah, it does go to these capacitors and stuff. Not sure what they then do, but oh, this should be, yeah, oh, there is a bypass switch, isn't it? Oh, that's power on off. Some of these used to have a bypass, I think. No, we just got power on off. I guess we should see if it powers up more than anything. I can probably put our fader back in place, although God, look at the muck down in there. And just, I guess, make sure we don't have blown outputs. You can really at least they haven't messed with the fader and stuff. I was just worried they'd messed with the speaker outputs or something. If they haven't been tweaked, we don't have to worry about blowing anything up, other than on the inputs, I guess, which shouldn't really worry it. Guess I should have kept that other thing. Well, it still works as a radio. We can always feed that into this. Yeah, that electrolytic looks a bit like it's been a bit hot. That one doesn't look 100%, but it's a dry joint. It's getting there. There's certainly some dodgy looking solder joints. Well, let's check the outputs. I guess the first thing I can do is just do a simple earth to fuse holder test. Is the power on? Yep. And we're not shorted out. It's pretty low, but is it rising? No, it's just sitting there. That's a worry. I'm the wrong way around, so it's not a diode or something, is it? Yeah, quite low across the inputs. Bloody multimeter's run out of 12s of the leads I can do. Well, they're not shorted, so that's a good sign. Because usually someone blows up the outputs if they do anything. Well, that seems alright. God knows there's probably some not so great solder joints in it, but I think we can probably hook power into this thing and just see if we at least get that far. I'm going to cut the end off that. That is the most corroded, useless connection on earth. And it's probably, yeah, going to say not much better when I strip the thing back again, because let's get rid of that cable tie. Then I can slide the fuse holder back, and we'll put 12 volts into it and see if it does anything bad. Oh, there it is. Probably shouldn't really use a 5 amp power supply, but ooh, she shot up and then back down. We've got a red light on the front. Some of these caps probably won't be too happy about being hooked up, but there's no smoke coming out. It's pulling about 500 milliamps, which could be normal for one of these. Just sitting there. Better make sure we don't short any speakers, inputs or outputs to anything. Yeah, that's right, these controls are seized up, aren't they? Let's put some cleaner in them, see if we can get them moving again. Because that will lube them up a bit. Most of that came back at me. Well, it's moving a bit, it's probably not the happiest thing on earth, but yeah, it's lubed it up a bit, I think. I'm just letting it run a bit, see if any caps start smoking or anything, but they seem to be alright. At least the graphic equalizer is sort of operational again. Very interesting, it doesn't seem to have a centre position on the ones that wouldn't move before. Oh, it does have a... no, it doesn't. No centre click left. The others have a definite click. Well, it's still sitting around 400 or 500 milliamps. I guess we could check the outputs. I could probably measure them at the... oh yeah, we've got a so we do have a booster power supply in here, I think, because I just noticed there's a couple of transistors, didn't even notice them before. So that is some sort of switch mode, I think, to boost the voltage up. What are these capacitors rated at? 25 volts, not a massive amount, but can I flip this over without shorting anything out? Where were they? There? No, here somewhere. 15 volt, I'll say 16. Ooh, I don't know if they should be different voltages. What's this? This is another massive capacitor. Oh, 32 volts. Unless they're output coupling caps, which they could be. Which was the next thing I was going to check. Let's have a quick look at the collectors of these output transistors. That's got 15 on it. I'm not sure it should, but I'm on 32. Ooh, everything's got voltage. That's not a good sign, unless they are capacitively coupled. That one doesn't have much on it. Yeah, 9.82, so I think we've got two rails and one's down. I mean, this could have been faulty. Yeah, 9.83, that's completely different. Assuming these are stereo channels, there's 32 there. Oh, that's right, because that's 9, that's 10. The other one's 15 and stuff. 16, 15, and then with that 32, I think. Nothing. 0.3 and 15 again. So that would probably be your speaker output, yeah. So that would be why we've got 15 volts on one cap and 9 on the other, because they're not power rails, I don't think. I think they're output couplers. Okay, so I've printed out a circuit for this thing, and it is at like a 30 volt power rail. Comes out of a little, well, it's in two pieces because I did it a bit bigger here. We've got a little, like a switch mode power supply, DC to DC converter, I guess. 13.77 volts in, although we're probably a little bit lower at the moment. And you've got 33.7 out. So maybe I should boost the voltage here just ever so slightly on the input, so we get roughly to those sort of voltages. And yeah, the 2 amp channels are basically, well, this is the two of them shown in mirror image, and capacitor 2200 mic on the output, as I thought, and I should have about 16.7 in the middle, which is why they need an isolating capacitor. So this is basically the equivalent of having like plus or minus 15 volt, but instead we've got like our 33.7 or whatever up the top here. Where is it? It comes up out of the power supply through here onto the transistor on each channel. Like I say, mirror image, so that transistor is equal to that one. They're showing around 17.5, 16, well 16.7 is really the output here. And I don't think they put the voltages on the other channel, no point. And then this is our ground. Is it actually connected fully to ground? I would think it would be. But to get the extra voltage so this amp can go a bit louder, let's see, where have they actually connected it to anything here? What do we got here? Green, white, oh that's the grey, white. Oh, there's our fader, most likely, is it? 100 ohms, I reckon so. I always seem to miss the link. Oh, it goes through the middle here, doesn't it? That's where it would go. You're involved to find where it actually connects to anything. Well, that's interesting because that's got the positives connected to it. We've got a green, white, left rear. .05 volts. So, oh no, that's the negative of that capacitor. Someone stuffed this up. They put the positive in the wrong place, going to say. This should basically be ground. That's the emitters. Got a 47 ohm, 100 ohm half watt. That goes back to, I think, the speaker output switches. And this must connect in somewhere. Probably should have sticky taped these circuits together for ease of seeing what the hell's going on. This comes to this chip. Oh, these are the LED level chips. Again, negative of the, I bet if we looked up pin 1, it's the negative rail of the chip. They're all LEDs. 3 volts, 11.5, 8.4, that's possibly an input. But I can't see on the circuit where it actually goes back to ground directly. There's our ground. Ground on the output of the switching or switching supply thing. Comes along here to all these transistors. Comes along here to all this stuff. Goes to this switch. Comes out, goes to the base of that thing, whatever that is. 13 volts is just switched from the input. So that's switched when it's turned off, I think. How they connected it, I can't even see. It's got to be hooked to ground, I think. Well, I guess what I can do is find these. What's connected to it? Well, the emitters are those output Q102 and Q202. Come on, wake up, fluke. That's our 34 volts. That's a bit about what it should be. Which transistor's which? That's probably the emitter. They're the ones that are well, are they both at 0? Because one of these sides may have a blown resistor or something, I'm guessing. Let's check this. I think this channel had the right voltages, roughly. That should be about 16. Yeah, it's 16.7. That's even what they said, I think. Whereas this channel, if that's the emitter down here, it's actually got a voltage on it, which it shouldn't have, because it's got blown resistors or something, and it's got, oh, it's back to, it's 11.6. I think it was about 9 volts before, because there was a couple of volts lower input. I think that should be a 30. 12. Yeah, I wonder if that's disconnected. Well, there's ground. Might want to go to resistance or continuity. Yeah, that's definitely ground. So I think they've missed it on the circuit. Either that or I can't see it for looking. Oh, but is this the other side on that? Oh. No, because that's the 34 volt one. That looks. Let me think. That's our 34 volt. Definitely goes, no, it goes through, oh no, it goes to this pin, sorry. So I'm assuming these are kind of mirror image, well they're the output caps. Pretty sure the output coupling caps. So those transistors do the same thing in each one. These transistors do the same, but is this one, it's mounted round the other way. That's the problem. So it'd be the pin at the other end, I think, wouldn't it? That's the thing I'm missing, I think. That pin should be connected to that pin. I did that, well, it measures to ground, so I assume that's why I'm getting some slightly different voltages, because I'm trying to read things that are around the opposite way. But yeah, that's ground. This is slightly lower, but it isn't ungrounded, I was going to say. And that's the base, 0.6. I think I guess it's got to be 0.6 above ground. That's 0.4. $16.9, so something in this output stage, that voltage is down in one, so that's basically goes to the output cap. You got two output transistors on it, and depending how these are biased, so it's going to be, yeah, it could just be that bias control, someone's tweaked it or something. I guess we need to find these driver transistors. Could be an open circuit resistor, high value, maybe even these little electrolytic capacitors could be shot. They might be upsetting the voltage or the coupling or something. I guess in a way I should really put an audio signal in and see if we get anything through it. But I mean, we've still got all this soldering, hasn't been looked at, and it's a bit of a mess. And there's some lump of loose something on there. The question is, where are these transistors and stuff? When you've got to work with a messy circuit board like this, it makes it very hard. And I guess I still haven't looked to see where those wires are cut off either, but they were something, what were they to do with? The inputs, so we won't worry about that too much. There's our two trim pots, so I guess we could even start at those if I can find them on the underside, and that would be one, I'm guessing. Yep, and the other one's right over somewhere. Oh, that. Maybe it was that thing I was actually poking at with a bit falling off it. Is that our trim pot? I think that's our trim pot there. Wouldn't mind actually seeing what the voltage is on those. Now, where did I say they were? That's one, that's the other. 16.2, 16.2, 16.7. This one's going to have to be out, I guess. 11. So that whole area is low. Right back to the trim pot. Where does that voltage come from? Through this? Well, everything feeds everything. That's the problem with these amps. I really need to find that Q103, Q104, I guess, on the channel that's on this side. And I guess they're going to be near that pot somewhere. But I can't see any markings, so I might need the board layout. Don't tell me that. They don't tell me they didn't mark them. The sons of... Yeah, other than writing down some basic stuff, I don't think they've actually put in any values. I don't like the look of that cap much either. But I don't know what cap it actually is on the circuit. So we've got driver transistor there, probably driver, there'd be the last two in the chain, I'm guessing. 647 and 667. As in, that's an AD-777. Where's my AD-777? Well, for starters, I don't think we have an AD-777, so someone may have been in here at some point. You've got two diodes. They do feed through a resistor and stuff, an R106, R102, is it? Because we could just be getting our voltage here through R106, R102, I think it is, 1K, 3K3, a couple of diodes, and then into that trim pot. So forgetting all these transistors, because that's what's really going to bias this thing on, and we've got this C105 and its equivalent 205 on the other side. So that's a definite possibility, I guess. Why does this 1K go? Oh yeah, okay, so that's the second connection, that's the power in. That could definitely make sense. And we've got some double diode thing, I don't know what that is, or what it looks like, if anything special at all. The problem is trying to find any of this stuff is a nightmare. They never were much fun to work on. You almost need to take the heat sinks off. If it's going to board layout, we're going to need it, because I can't see anything. Is that a 1K? No, it's a 1.5K or something. Red B plus. In left. More transistors and stuff up everywhere. I'm not sure it's worth checking these electrolytic caps, but it could be. That channel definitely looks more cooked. I think that's one of them there. I guess I should check this thing has actually discharged. It should have. So I think that's one there. And possibly there. I might just go over them to eliminate them out of the inquiries. .08. 0.08. They're probably good if that is them. And then there's a little one which I think is this bit here. Ooh, possibly open circuit. Yeah, 1.8, so that could be a dud cap. And that's possibly that 47 mic would be the one, would be my guess as to what's dud if anything. But it may be nothing. We'll see if it is even a capacitor first. But these things did run pretty hot. Yeah, I think that's it. Whether it's the fault, but that cap there I think we've got. 10 mic 47 volt. What's it connect to? Can we tell? Not really. There's another little. Is that a 1K by any chance? You never know. No, it's a one. Is it 15 ohm? So I don't know if that is C105 or something, but if it is, it's not hooked to the right resistor, I don't think. But let's double check it out of circuit. Yeah, of course it measures fine now. No, it measures fine. Screw you. So maybe just not connecting to it. Well, we'll shove it back in, you never know, it might have reformed or something from putting some heat into it. Not impossible. Be nice if I could actually see some of this board. So that's connected to this, back into some transistor here by the look of it. Okay, so I don't think it's that. We've got another cap on the other side of these caps, which is impossible to work out where that it fits. It goes up and down. God, I don't know, is it one of these two? Would it be that thing? Doesn't look like it. It would be up to the diagonal, maybe that. Of course that measures open circuit as well. Where's it on the other side? Same position, sort of diagonal. God, I don't know, that thing. Well, that's open too. Could be that thing. That could be it. That would be that one. Yeah, one measures 0.9. One measures 3.6. There's a difference. Assuming it's the same thing. Certainly looks like it's a mirror image. That doesn't sound good. I can hear something hissing away there. That actually smells like electro leaky cap or something, but whether it really is. It sounds pretty dodgy to me. But I wouldn't expect these to be leaky and horrible sounding because I've been out the elements for so long, but who knows. Is it the capacitor that I've even disconnected? Feels like it probably should be, but it's not coming. Yeah, it's definitely it. Why won't it come out? Doesn't have that much solder left on it. Must add something. Oh, springs back. What the? Maybe glue? Probably have to bend it. Yeah, it's glued, I think. Oh yeah, definitely glued. Well, it doesn't look very healthy under there. Oh yeah, smells like the leaky cap to me. I think that one definitely is shot. It's another 47. No, it's a 10 mic. That measures quite good now. Of course, I think I might change that one because that stinks. Ooh, yeah. 1025 should be a 63. Yep. Doubt that's going to have any effect, but it's worth getting rid of that if it is a bit off. But it would be good to actually try and fault find this thing rather than guesstimate. That's not solder cutters. But it does hurt to do some rough maintenance. Starting off, what are these ones? Can't tell. Can't read a thing there, so they're little ones. Oh god, good luck finding that. And there's a couple of green. Oh, one's green, one's black. So one in each channel. I'd say there probably is down. God, I still can't work out where they are. So you've got the big cap, and it's about this. It must be those two pins. They're joined together though, aren't they? Oh, it's these ones then. Are they? Oh, they're separate. I can't tell with all this white muck on the board. Oh, don't want multimeter. .5. That would be the one on that channel. 0.6. Well, I doubt that would have made a single bit of difference, but we'll plug it in and try it just in case. Make sure we're not shorting anything out here. volts, is that higher than before? Ooh, it is. Now we've got 18 volts on that channel, so maybe it was that. Where are we? Where's the output cap? That's what we want. Hey, 17.9. Well, that certainly made a difference. And 17.8. Well, they're both very close, so maybe that was the issue. What is it? 10 microfarad capacitor. That's the output. That was at 47. That's a 470. 470 on the other channel. 4710. Well, unless they've changed, some of these things are looking like they might have changed the values, but oh, there's a 10. Oh, that's the input. The 1025 looks to be C10 whatever, 101 and 201. That actually comes out of one of the op amps or whatever they are in the graphic equalizer. I think that must be. There's all your equalizer pots. Wow, really? And I wouldn't have thought an input would affect the DC biasing of the... And it's AC coupled, so it shouldn't really affect it at all. If that is that cap, I might have to look up on the board Where was it though? It was the one up here. No, I've forgotten. Yeah, one down there, one up there. What is it on the other side? It's that, those two pins there, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's impossible to make out anything much. What's that thing in the middle there? That's a big cap. Is it connected to those? No. I mean, it's close enough up here that it could be connected to the graphic equalizer, I guess. Weird. Not what I was expecting, but let's just check it again. Output is 17.4. 17.4 roughly, so it might be safe to actually hook something up here. And I think I've got to check this outputs. We come out of our caps. What is this? Oh, they go through switches, I think I noticed. Yes, the output of the amp comes out through a switch. It goes down to some other things here. What are those two lines above the earth line? They go into these two transistors. What on earth do they do? Shorted to ground. Oh, we've got a protection triac here, so I wonder if that's over voltage protection or something. But oh, unless these aren't some sort of decent. Oh no, they're not the transistors, are they? Oh no, there's these other two lines. Ah, they go to. That's what I would have thought. They'd be going into the LED level meters. Well, there's somewhat looks like a multi-vibrator here, which runs. What is that? Is that an LED? I don't think so. Oh, it is a red. Oh, power indicator. What does it do? Flash at certain times. Maybe it's got a. Again, maybe that's to do with this air crowbar protection circuit. Whether it's an over voltage or something else, or it looks like it possibly kicks in when the power turns off, or at least part of its functions. But anyway, that was not what I was interested in. I was interested in our output. So they go through these switches, must come back up. Looks like part of the power switch, I assume. So maybe they disconnect the speakers that turn off just to stop any thump or whatever. Got green, yellow. Well, there's a fader. Well, I should go into the. Oh, there's another switch here. What's, oh, 4-speaker, 2-speaker switch. Does this have one of them? That's not what someone's disconnected in here, is it? I don't think it was. Ah. So one mode they're shorted to ground. Oh, the grey. Ah, yeah. So it shorts the speaker wires to ground in 2-speaker mode. But in 4-speaker mode, what's it doing? Running them in series or something. That's the. Well, that's the output of the fader, I guess. Is it? Green, white, grey, white. Grey, white, grey, yellow. So green, yellow, green, white, which I don't think we have. Of course we don't. Okay, I'm just checking these. I've got a bit of a weird setup with the fader not being set up the way I would have expected. This speaker terminal is 40 to ohms, 40 to ground, and 40 to ground. No matter what we do with the fader, whereas this other one I think actually went from 40 to 0. .40 at one end, 0 at the other. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So we've got a black wire here that is ground. So I'm guessing we go between that one and that's the one without the black trace. So I've got this sort of setup. This doesn't, I don't think, have a 2-speaker, 4-speaker switch. In one mode they short some of the speaker terminals to ground in 2-speaker mode. But in 4-speaker mode they kind of do some weird stuff. I think that's the amp output, and that's your fader, which then goes to this speaker switch. But we're forgetting that. It'll come back through the grey, and then what? Back out. I think they must go in series back to that black wire. But then when you turn the fader, you are sort of shorting. Well, that is ground, isn't it? That's ground. Fader's on ground on one end. Yeah, that's the weirdest. And the middle of it comes down. And in 4-speaker mode, it comes back to there, which is also the output, but then that's going to be shorted. No idea quite what they've done there. Normally it should feed this, your amp output should feed to the middle of the fader, and then it should, each end of the fader resistance should come out to either the front or rear speakers, and depending where you turn it, you're either shorting out from the middle, from the amp output completely to one end of the fader or to the other end, or you're in the middle of both bits so they both get equal. So definitely a bit odd there, but I think if we hook between ground and these ones we should be right. Soon find out, I guess. Well, let's see if there's any DC or weird stuff coming out of this thing. It should be, of course, well I think I already checked the outputs, didn't I? Because that's the other side of these caps. Yeah, it's free of any voltage. We'll just double check it. Best to be safe. Nothing there. Oh, the only problem is I need to feed this with a variable input, but we won't even hook an input up just yet. Ah, bloody bits of wire. Gotta watch those. Gotta watch out, side cutters dropping rubbish everywhere. So they should be the inputs. I'll just cut all them off so they A, can't short out, and they're rubbish anyway after years of sitting in the dirt or whatever. I guess I'm game enough to hook up some speakers just to see if we get something. I guess we should get a click or something, hopefully no super loud volume out of it or anything. But we can find out. Bet there's no source on it, but it may get some hum or something, I don't know. You never know with these things. In theory we should just get a bit of a indication that it's connected, maybe some scratchy noises from the slider pots, hopefully not too noisy, too loud. That's kind of what I expected. Yep, we can hear some scratchy, because this really has no volume control on it. Ooh, yeah, that's, I'm just hoping that doesn't come out at full volume kind of thing. Yeah, you can definitely hear amp hiss when I turn the switch on. You can even hear the hiss change frequency. It seems to be that pot's frequency. So I think that's probably a working unit. Now I was using, oh that's what I was using, but this takes line level input is the problem. Maybe we'll have to hook up one of our other radios that I fixed. That wire's still pretty crap. Let's cut a bit more off, it's all corroded and looking horrible. I must find my wire strippers around here somewhere, but I'm so used to doing it this way it doesn't really matter. So I guess grey and green being the output, grey and green will be the input, black will be the common. I guess we can check that to ground. Check its resistance to ground is nothing. These probably have some resistance, 140. 140, yeah, that's good. I'll even hook up our Holden radio. Even though I could hook up a boombox or something, I guess. But let's just do that for now, if I can get enough clip leads organised. Ooh, something's flashing on the...
New music from around the country. I've been so excited by a ton of stuff on Triple J Unearthed, like I am every week. But very soon I'm going to be introducing you to an artist who's not only being influenced by his Australian roots, but his Zambian roots as well. If you're a fan of like Amapiano, that Afrobeat sound, it is coming up next for you out of Borloo. It is Angisha and a track called Don't Play. You might have heard it over lunch with Dave today as he nodded towards this time you and I spend together here on Soul Control. And hey, coming up to... a
lot of noise there.
Euphoric summer vibes from this amazing artist.
Yeah, not too happy in the noise department. Is that because of this thing? Ooh. So it's not coming from the amp. That just, well, it just had that hiss before, didn't it? So why is this putting out so much noise? Interesting.
So if you have a track you
didn't notice that when I was testing it on its own. Interesting. What I could also try is actually hooking it up to the amplifier here, I think, and let's turn the load off rather than having all this mess everywhere. So got CD in, we should have amplifier on. Oh, let's just a bit of hum, that's probably coming from the amp itself. Seems to have an issue with one of the LED level meters there. To the ear the sounds alright, but the LEDs aren't going up as much. They look like they were before, but for some reason now they don't seem to be. I'm pretty sure on that other radio they seem to be alright. Let's swap that channels over, but they sound okay, they sound balanced. Maybe it's just the bass is out on one channel, that could be what it is, I think. So it's not showing up on here. When I turn the bass up it comes up more on one side, but that's probably because this pot is shot. I think I did give those a clean, but probably not good enough. They're still pretty stiff and horrible. At least you can see the contacts down through these things. They certainly boost and drop it a lot. It sounds terrible when you turn up just one of the couple of the middle ones. Ugh, that one doesn't seem to do anything. Wow, it basically works fine. Amazing. That was just a shot cap in it, so maybe that's why I got retired, or maybe that just rotted away over time. Well, I'll be damned, I wasn't expecting to run it. Actually pretty loud and decent. This would have been a great unit in the day, I reckon. Still sounds pretty damn good, so nice little Pioneer amp there. Looks like the front might even clean up half decent. It's lost a bit of its screen printing. This would have been probably worth a few dollars if it was still in good condition. The Summit Retro Collector, but these were pretty good units. A lot of these things, some of them they made like the component systems for the car, so you had a separate tape deck and amp and graphic like this, separate tuner. I had a friend had a Clarion one or something that was pretty cool. Even though it was fairly old, it was still a decent unit and certainly pumped out the volume like the amp, and it was way above most of them, though the later head units did start, like the CD ones and that, did start getting decent amps just built into the head unit. Like all the Sony car CDs and that were great units, but in its day this was certainly much louder than the average unit, which was just a little one of those little chips like we've been seeing in the mono cassettes or even that stereo Commodore Eurobox thing. guess I should probably, let's turn that horrible noise off. Give this a quick clean out. Now I guess I should give all the LEDs a clean because they're a little dirty. An interesting combo of yellow and red, but why not, I guess. Doesn't really matter what colour they are, you normally be green. But I guess they decided to do something a bit different. Just give it a quick clean up. It's in surprisingly good condition, this front. I thought this thing was really corroded, but it might have been the knobs. I think that is one issue. And these screws are pretty rough. But if you resprayed them silver, even just over the rust would be a good start. But wow, who knew it'd still be a bit of a goer. Oh, I've got to look at these wires that are hanging in there. They probably just want unsoldering and thrown away, I would guess. But yeah, that's a pretty loud car amp. So these wires come from point R1, is that one of them? R1, possibly L1 and DC. I was going to look on the circuit, see if I can work out what on earth these things are. Where is the input? I thought they'd be over where the graphic equalizers are. Well, this is the, well, that's the inputs, and they come down 4 and 5 along the middle there, which goes into what? Those two. So we've got some capacitors. So there you go, grey R input, green L input, black and black, which we have. And those wires just come along, all the way along to 4 and 5. Well, that's actually on the graphic equalizer board, is it? Yeah, no idea what those wires are. Where are they? They're this bunch of wires here. According to this, they come down on the main board, I think, into all this mess. Well, that wouldn't, yeah, don't know. I think I might remove them if I can find them on the board. That's going to be the real problem. Is that that? Nope. It's got to be around there somewhere. I know, a bit further across. Oh god, maybe I should just cut them from above. That's going to be really hard to find. It's around here somewhere. Definitely not that one. I've got a transistor about here somewhere, that. Maybe. Which is where I was soldering, wasn't it? But not there. Ah, there. What I might do is open up a hole there, because at least someone can find it again. So that's connected to a few different things, and no idea what. I might resolder that joint, because that doesn't look the best. And this board wants a good scrub really to get all this muck off it. We've got corrosion, we've got rust, but not that bad. I can't believe this thing came out as well as it did. It's quite amazing really. So it's been soldered to something, this. Don't know what. That goes to over near the board. It's one of these, I think. Yep, that was the one. So I'm guessing the blue one goes to the one on the other side here. Yep. That is what they were. Or where they were. That needs to clean out, and yeah, that's the grey and green come in on those, next to those, and then they go, I assume, on the wires up to the some capacitors, resistors in it. Assume it goes up into the these equalizer, probably these blue and red that come up. So why would we have another blue and red? That's on the input. Yeah, it's basically, that's 4 and 5 would be those little blue and red wires. Green and grey come in. It doesn't actually show them hit the board, but that's what those two wires were soldered to, so they're just in parallel. So I'm none the wiser whether someone removes something from there or not, but they can go in the rubbish. Hate having loose wires floating around and things. Board definitely needs a bit more of a clean. Probably needs more than just the old method treatment. Some flux cleaner or something. I think there's just a lot of flux on there is the problem, and the flux has of course gone bad with the water damage or whatever. A lot of, yeah, it's flux, it's definitely flux coloured. Let's get all over me metho dispenser. I don't think this board was cleaned very well in the factory, to be honest. I can smell it, it really stinks of flux. That's what that is, that's the exact kind of flux that you get. Corrosion's taken a bit of the green lacquer off, but I don't think it's done too much to the actual copper track, surprisingly. I think this is going to dry out fairly clean. Well, a bit of a clean of that, and it's actually come up rather clean now, so it's not really corroded. It was just the flux, a lot of that flux on the board. They obviously didn't clean this very well in the factory, and if you get water on the flux it tends to go all white and milky. It's getting a bit more milky as it dries out, but it looks a lot better than it was. I mean, it looks a bit rubbishy with the green lacquer that's come off and it's gone black and dropped off basically. But the copper underneath doesn't seem to be too bad, most of it. That bit might want bypassing, maybe. Still pretty solid, I think. It's just a bit of a black tarnish layer on it. It hasn't actually eaten into it as I would have expected. Yeah, certainly not something you could sell as a, well, like I say, you could pull it dodgy on eBay or something, but something you wouldn't sell as a good condition one. I think once I clean the muck out of these heat sinks, this will actually come up reasonably good looking unit, although we do have to have a look. These knobs are all green basically. They are corroded, so even if I polish those I don't think there's going to be much left of them, but I guess nothing that a can of spray paint can't fix. If you can get them roughly to the same colour, no one would probably be any the wiser. They're a bit of a hard colour to match, I think. Okay, so I've given it a bit of a clean up. It's not perfect by any means, but got some of the worst off it. It needs quite a bit more scrubbing of the heatsink, so probably really want removing and scrubbing up properly. Front panels back together. Pot knobs are pretty bad. Don't look anywhere near as bad as they did before, because how green they were before and stuff, I really thought this thing was going to be a complete wreck. I think the LEDs are actually a little bit faded on the ends. Looks like they've been out in the sun or something. Could be wrong, but they definitely don't look as colourful on the tips as they should be. So I think everything's still safely hooked up. Appropriate song. So that all seems to be running well. Put the thing back together, I guess, and I don't know what I'll do with this, but this is actually quite a good little amplifier, really. Shame not to use it for something. And yeah, you could clean up those screws a bit better. I think the top on it was a bit rough. Where is it? Yeah, a bit rough to say the least. And I did have to bend. That's right, the bottom. I forgot the bottom was so bad. Look at that. I had to bend it a bit to even get it off. So yeah, I forgot the bottom's an absolute mess, and bent on the ends trying to get that because it was so rusted in there. God, who would have thought the insides would be half decent with a bit of black paint on there, except for the label. Might even give that a spray up and we'll see what it looks like, but can probably get this bit looking half decent again. So it might look alright from the top. That bottom bit of metal, yeah, it'd really have to be resprayed silver, I guess, or something, trying to get all the rust off that, and it probably could bend those bits roughly back into shape. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess. Should have done one of those fake restoration videos on it or something where they pretend and cover it in a bit of mud and wipe it all off, and I could have actually sprayed paint into those bits up and made them look alright. And we had some, where were those screwed onto? Oh, they were screwed onto these bits here, the little clamps, so I might put all them in a bag, put it back together, but I am kind of shocked that that works so well. It actually sounds really good. Certainly cranks out some volume. I couldn't even turn it up too loud because it makes the CD player jump here since it's next to the speakers. I must move that over to that other 5-disc player so that doesn't happen. But I wouldn't mind actually trying cranking this one right up. And possibly some of these caps could do with recapping and stuff, but they all seem to measure good enough for now. If you're going to crank it up and heat it up, might be worth getting some really nice high quality, high temperature ones for it. But yeah, obviously in the condition this one's in, it's more a novelty. I'm glad I saved it from the dirt and rotting away. It would have been probably a lot worse condition now if I'd left it there. So always nice to see a bit of high-end gear like this, which is what it really was in the day. And yeah, not quite a nice simple design, this thing, so I can't imagine too much going wrong with it. And it's not like the modern ones where you've got a heap of switch mode stuff in there and it tends to blow a heap of FETs and God knows what in them. I have looked at a few of them, but generally not worth fixing. Something to avoid looking at if you can help it. Probably if you specialise in them and get really good at them, wouldn't be a big problem. But again, they're not that expensive these days that anyone's going to pay you probably what it's worth to really fix one. But I do have a big JVC one lying around here somewhere, and I just remembered I have a Philips head unit somewhere. God knows, there's probably other stuff around here, but there's a Philips one that someone built into a little box with a pair of speakers and made a kind of boombox out of it. I must find that and be worth a bit of a look at. But anyway, that's got this thing going for now, as good as it's probably going to go. I might even add a bit on the end of the video if I reckon it's probably worth spray painting that top cover just so that can go back on and it can kind of look the part with that slotted in. I think that's probably worth doing, and just maybe clean up these heat sinks a little bit more. I mean, it'll look half decent with fresh paint on that from the top, but the bottom's getting a bit beyond it. But given the amazing amount of corrosion, I didn't hold any hope for this thing. I thought it was going to be a real mess, and it turns out it's actually cleaned up really nicely. How did our flux end up in the end? Yeah, it's got a little bit white still, but a few more scrubs and wiping off, so that would get rid of that. And yeah, not much I can do about the corrosion really, but no point doing anything about it because it's not broke, so I'm not going to try and fix it. So thanks for watching.